Today we're riding Kittitas, an Issaquah-class ferry built in 1980 that today serves the Vashon-Southworth-Fauntleroy route. Except I wouldn't be able to ride this boat today if not for some very stubborn, dare I say dramatic, islanders. So instead, we're going to start this video at the library. You see, the Washington State Ferry System was started in 1951, not as a permanent solution, but as a stopgap until the state could build bridges across Puget Sound. You might not know this, but the WSF was originally controlled not by the Department of Transportation, no. It was controlled by the Washington Toll Bridge Authority. The plan was always to build cross-sound bridges. And at first, the people of Vashon Island were eager for that to happen. A highway running through their agrarian island would have brought off-island dollars to their local economy and commerce to an island known for its quiet, calm lifestyle. But for various reasons, the plans for a cross-sound bridge system fell through, and in the decades after, something changed. The people of Vashon noticed another local island, Mercer Island on Lake Washington, had fundamentally changed after a floating bridge brought outsiders to the island. No longer was it a destination. It became the place you drive through to get somewhere else. As time went on, Vashon Islanders realized that their home, an island accessible only by boat, was an increasingly rare gift to those who value a quiet life. And once a bridge was built, you couldn't put that toothpaste back in the tube. So on March 9th, 1992, a proposal was brought to Vashon Island. Let's finally build the bridge. And to put it lightly, the answer was hell no. 2,000 people crammed into a high school gym to protest the bridge proposal. Keep in mind, in 1990, the population of the island was only about 9,000 people. That level of civic engagement is unheard of. Protesters brought signs that read, "If you build it, they will come." People even dressed their dogs with protest attire. "Don't Mercerize Vashon Island," one sign read. A state representative said in his speech, "We don't need another Galloping Gertie," referring, of course, to the famous Tacoma Narrows Bridge disaster that happened just 5 miles away from Vashon. Admittedly, that bridge did end up performing, as a civil engineer would say, poorly. But just to make sure the message was clear, a person wearing a skull mask and dressed in black carried a sign saying, "Bridges bring death." When a speaker asked people to say boo if they opposed the bridge, the room rocked with sound. When he asked if anyone was in favor, there was silence. It went that way for more than 2 hours. The bridge was never built. So look, these videos are about the boats, but they're also about the communities they serve. And if not for the stubbornness and pageantry of Vashon Islanders 34 years ago, I wouldn't be able to ride this ferry today. And it's not because they loved ferries, it's because they hated bridges. But either way, I couldn't make this video without including a tribute to the people who made it possible. So thank you, Vashon. The ride to Vashon Island started with a new experience, one I'd been looking forward to but hadn't yet been able to do. I was the only walk-on passenger, and I walked on not via the Pickle Fork, but instead through the car deck. These lower traffic routes are mostly vehicle ridership, and during the 5 rides I enjoyed on Kittitas today, I was maybe one of 4 walk-on passengers total. Kittitas is, much like the other Issaquah-class ferries, drenched in character. All the ferries in her class feel special to ride, like they're a snapshot of a time we can never go back to. Except in some places, and I think Vashon is one of those places, I'm not sure that time ever ended. That protest 3 decades ago preserved a lifestyle otherwise vanishing in our modern world. I think the people of Vashon Island understood what few places seem to, that they were more than just people living in a moment. They were the stewards of their way of life for the people who came after them. They understood that they were living in history, not after it, and that preservation worked. I noticed that, more than my other Puget Sound crossings, none of these passengers seemed to be in any hurry at all. They read books, solved puzzles, they watched for whales, and they admired the uninhabited Blake Island to the north, which we got much closer to than I thought we would. And it's a good thing no one was in a hurry, because we spent the day chasing and then waiting on one of her sister ships on the Triangle route, Cathlamet, to clear out so we could dock. Unlike the other ferry videos I've filmed, I spent almost no time checking the WashDOT app to see when we were supposed to arrive. No, the schedule on Kittitas was much more, we get there when we get there. And I have to say, I loved it. I'm not just making these videos to share them with you. My goal is to ride every WSF ferry simply because I want to, because it's fun. I want to see my new home state. I want to meet all the islands and the people who make them so special. This was also my first time being on a ferry that turned around. Because the Triangle route goes more than just back and forth between two places, they have to make sure the boat is facing the same way every time so that cars can drive on all facing the same direction. Doing the little spin almost every time we set off was deeply charming. The Issaquah class ferries are so much fun to ride. Everywhere you look, there's a little story being told. My favorite spot to sit is always on the wooden benches in the outdoor passenger lounge, though Kittitas shows her age here in that many of her amber-tinted windows are missing. The car deck is littered with giant no-smoking signs, a symbol of the era she came from, and the metal-grated windows and handwritten notes made of welding beads on the superstructure make Kittitas feel like she was handmade by real people. She is more than machine. She is an amalgam of the people who made her and the people who ride her every day. Every ride I've had on an Issaquah class ferry captures something that cannot be defined and could never be replicated. It's something impossible to invoke on purpose, and in many cases, it's a feeling that washes over you so gently, so naturally, that you don't even realize you felt it until it went away. Riding Kittitas feels profoundly human. Let's step onto the Pickle Fork and see what the wind is like on Kittitas. It's not very windy. Thank you for indulging me in my history lesson. I could not make this video in good faith without celebrating the fact that I got to ride a ferry today because, before I was born, some people I'll probably never meet got together and decided that the quiet life they enjoyed was worth fighting for. And the thing is, they were right. 4 ferries down, 17 to go. See you next time.